Private files from 50 Cent's upcoming documentaries have just been leaked, and what's inside is shocking the hip-hop world. From surprising things about Jay-Z and T.I. to big secrets about dozens of other rappers, these documents could change the music industry forever. Rappers are panicking, tensions are rising, and the footage reportedly shows illegal activity, betrayals, and shocking confessions that no one was supposed to see. In this video, we're breaking down everything from the leaks and why this could be the biggest shakeup hip-hop has ever seen. Let us start with the thing that set the entire internet on fire. The Diddy Netflix documentary, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, dropped on December 2nd, 2025. It is a 4-part documentary by executive producer Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and director Alexandria Stapleton. And the moment it hit the platform, it was clear this was not a normal celebrity hit piece or a tabloid recap. This was something else entirely. The documentary series shows private footage that was filmed with Combs' knowledge in the 6 days leading up to his arrest and charges. And that footage is what caused the entire music industry to lose its mind, because nobody, not Diddy, not his lawyers, not anyone in his circle, expected this footage to end up in 50 Cent's hands. The footage shows a clearly angry Diddy talking to his lawyer about losing, and also telling his legal team to find someone who has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business to push back against the various claims against him. That is Diddy, in his own words, on camera in September 2024, just days before the police came and arrested him. And all of that ended up in a Netflix documentary executive produced by the man who has been making fun of him for 20 years. Now, here is the part that gets interesting. How did 50 Cent actually get this footage? The footage came from a videographer Diddy hired to film his life and legal problems, meant for a personal documentary. Let that sit for a moment. Diddy hired someone to follow him around with cameras. He wanted his own documentary. He wanted to control the story. He wanted to tell his side of things. Instead, that footage ended up in the hands of the one person on this planet who would use it against him. After Diddy's arrest, a third-party freelancer allegedly leaked the content while the main filmmaker, Michael Oberlius, was out of town. In a statement to Rolling Stone, filmmaker Michael Oberlius said he had been filming Combs for over 2 years and denied accusations that he leaked anything. According to Oberlius, the footage made its way into the hands of Jackson and Netflix because a freelancer temporarily covering his duties took copies without permission. He said the release had nothing to do with any payment dispute or contract issue, pushing back on social media rumors that he had not been paid. So it was not even the main cameraman who leaked it. It was a substitute, a freelancer who was filling in while the regular guy was away. And that freelancer took copies and, according to Oberlius, unfairly passed the footage to 50 Cent. Now, when Diddy's legal team found out this footage was being used, they went into full emergency mode. Diddy's attorney sent Netflix a cease and desist letter just before the documentary dropped, saying the use of private pre-arrest footage was not allowed. They called the documentary a shameful hit piece, but Netflix aired it anyway, and 50 Cent made fun of the legal threat online. Now think about that. You are Diddy. You are behind bars. You hired a cameraman to film your life for your own project. And now that cameraman's backup freelancer hands over the footage to the guy who has been clowning you on Instagram for 2 decades, and then that footage goes live on Netflix for the entire planet to see. That is not just a bad day. That is a nightmare. But 50 Cent was not done. Not even close. In the long-running conflict between Sean Diddy Combs and Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, the latest twist centers on more than 140 hours of raw video recorded in the months leading up to Combs' federal racketeering and sex trafficking case. Jackson claims the material, originally shot for Combs' own documentary project, is now in his hands and contains things that will shut everybody up. 140 hours. That is almost 6 full days of non-stop footage. The Netflix documentary that shocked the internet was only 4 episodes. So what is in the other 130-something hours that did not make the cut? During a December 10th, 2025 appearance on Sherry, 50 teased the release of raw clips directly to YouTube. "Or I'll just put it on YouTube," he said with a smirk. When asked about a possible second season, that is 50 Cent casually threatening to upload the rest of the footage straight to YouTube. No Netflix gatekeepers, no editors. Bah wowie. No lawyers reviewing frames, just raw, unfiltered content for the masses. And he repeated it on Instagram. Jackson made the statement on Instagram this week, telling followers, "Correct. 140 hours of footage. I don't understand why he filmed himself, but I'm glad he filmed himself. The people supporting him will be very quiet when more comes out." Now, to understand why this is so important, you have to understand how big the documentary actually was. In the 6 days after its release, the series was watched 21.8 million times, making it the second most watched Netflix title during the week of December 8th, 2025. after Volume 1 of the 5th season of Stranger Things. Only Stranger Things did better than it. A hip-hop documentary made by a rapper about another rapper almost broke Netflix. The documentary was not just about leaked footage, though. The series also includes never-before-seen footage filmed in the 6 days before Diddy's arrest, as well as handwritten journal notes from Bad Boy co-founder Kirk Burrows, documenting years of managing Diddy's personal and financial matters. Kirk Burrows, the man who co-founded Bad Boy Records alongside Diddy, kept written notes for years, and those notes are now on camera in a documentary for the public to read. Among the exclusive materials shown in Sean Combs' The Reckoning are journal entries from Bad Boy Entertainment co-founder Kirk Burrows, who took handwritten notes while on the job managing, as Burrows says in the documentary, financial aspects of Sean's personal life and all that came with it. That phrase, and all that came with it, is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Burrows is on the record saying he managed not just the business but the personal side of Diddy's life. And he kept receipts. Written, time-stamped, handwritten receipts. The series includes interviews with people who were on the jury from Diddy's federal trial, part of a big case that began in September 2024 when Combs was arrested and charged with racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. So this was not just a documentary about rumors or internet gossip. This was a documentary that included actual jury members from the trial speaking on camera, former co-workers, co-founders, artists who were signed to Bad Boy, and people who were in the room when things happened. Now, on December 7, 2023, executive producer Curtis 50 Cent Jackson announced that he was developing a Sean Combs documentary series, and that money from the project would go to victims of the sexual misconduct accusations against Combs. Before hiring Alexandria Stapleton to direct the series, Jackson had been working on the project for 5 months, looking for people close to Combs who were willing to speak and tell the truth. 5 months of reaching out to people in Diddy's circle. 5 months of convincing people to come forward, and then another year of production before it hit Netflix. This was not a rushed job. This was a careful, planned, step-by-step breakdown of a public figure using that public figure's own footage against him. 50 Cent, who has publicly fought with Diddy for years, says that the documentary is not part of a personal revenge plan. Despite the ongoing teasing between the two music moguls, 50 Cent said he holds no grudge against Diddy in a sit-down interview with ABC. He says the project is not a revenge campaign. Instead, he described The Reckoning as an effort to lift up voices when others won't, adding that many people involved trusted him to bring their stories forward. But here's the thing. Whether 50 Cent says this is a public service or a personal grudge, the result is the same. The footage leaked, the documentary dropped. Diddy's own cameras captured him in his most vulnerable moments, and those moments are now streaming on Netflix for the entire world. And the part that nobody is talking about, 50 Cent is not done. The Diddy documentary was just the beginning, because while the world was watching Sean Combs' The Reckoning, 50 was already planning his next move, and his next target was not a music mogul behind bars. His next target was a rapper who was very much free, very much active, and very much in the middle of promoting a comeback album. His next target was T.I. To understand the full picture of what is happening between 50 Cent and T.I. right now, you have to go back to the beginning. And the beginning is not 2026. The beginning is 2006. The beef first began way back in 2006 when both rappers were arguably at their peak. 50 was the star of G-Unit and T.I. was the self-proclaimed King of the South. The tension began to appear in a competitive way with small digs at each other. Both men were at the top of the game. 50 Cent had just come off Get Rich or Die Tryin' and The Massacre, 2 albums that sold 5 million copies each. T.I. was running the South with King and had made himself the face of trap music. They were 2 alpha rappers in 2 different regions, and the tension was natural. Then, in 2007, something happened that showed everyone exactly how 50 Cent behaves when he wants to get under someone's skin. In 2007, while T.I. was performing with Jay-Z and Kanye West at Screamfest 2007, 50 would do what Lil Mama once did, jumping on stage and crashing the set. T.I. was performing alongside Jay-Z and Kanye West. It was a huge moment for him, and 50 just walked on stage uninvited and put himself in the middle of the show. That is the level of disrespect we are talking about. That is 50 Cent's signature move. He does not just come after you with music, he invades your space in person. Then the documentary threat is the latest escalation, in a conflict that goes back to 2007 when 50 called T.I. a snitch after his machine gun arrest and plea deal. T.I. was arrested on federal weapons charges in 2007. each charges that could have put him away for years. He ended up working with authorities, which led to a shorter sentence. And 50 Cent did what 50 Cent does. He called him a snitch. In hip-hop, that is the same as a kill shot. The label stuck. Now fast forward to 2026. The beef had been simmering for almost 2 decades. It had not exploded into anything beyond the occasional social media jab or interview hint until a versus battle got brought up. T.I. initially suggested on $1 million worth of game that the two had agreed on a versus battle, with the idea being that T.I. would share the news. He claimed on the podcast hosted by Jilly Da Kid and Wallow that 50 went back on the plan after the What You Know rapper shared the news. So according to T.I., this is what happened. The two of them agreed behind the scenes to do a versus battle. T.I. was supposed to be the one to announce it publicly. He goes on $1 million worth of game and announces it, and then 50 Cent acts like he has no idea what T.I. is talking about. He plays dumb on social media. He makes fun of T.I. for making the announcement. He makes it look like T.I. made the whole thing up. T.I. and 50 Cent's feud was reignited during Super Bowl weekend when T.I. called out 50 for avoiding him in a versus battle while talking on Nightcap. And then again a few weeks later during an interview on $1 million worth of game. Now, whether 50 genuinely agreed to a versus and then backed out, or whether T.I. jumped the gun, that part is unclear. But the result was clear. T.I. felt disrespected. He felt like 50 made him look foolish in front of the entire hip-hop community. And for a man who calls himself the king, looking foolish is not an option. But here's where 50 made things worse in a way that nobody expected. I might have forgotten to think about the fact that the rapper from Queens can get really nasty on social media. 50 posted 2 photos to his Instagram account. The first, a very unflattering photo of his wife, Tiny Harris, alongside the caption, "Keep my name out your mouth." In a second post, he compared T.I.'s son, King Harris, to Pepe the Frog. 50 did not go after T.I. with a diss track. He did not respond in an interview. He went to Instagram and posted unflattering photos of T.I.'s wife, Tiny Harris, and then compared T.I.'s son to a cartoon frog. That is not a normal rap beef. That is personal warfare. And that is when King Harris entered the picture. King Harris, the 21-year-old son of T.Y. and Tiny, went to his Instagram stories with a very angry, curse-filled rant after the 50-year-old music mogul shared an unflattering photo of Tiny during his growing online fight with T.I. King went live on Instagram, and he did not hold back. He went after 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who passed away in 1983. King said to the camera, referencing 50 Cent's mother, Sabrina Jackson, who died in 1983. He then urged the Candy Shop rapper to post a photo of his late mother, before saying again that he should leave Tiny out of the back and forth. Now, in any normal situation, bringing someone's dead mother into a rap beef would be seen as crossing a line. And by most accounts it was. But in the context of this beef, King was responding to what he felt was an attack on his own mother. 50 posted photos mocking Tiny. King responded by going after 50's late mother. The cycle of back and forth had officially gone from rappers dissing each other to families attacking each other. The very public back and forth between the two rappers took over timelines in February when the Harris family, T.I. and his sons, Damani and King, released a bunch of diss tracks aimed at 50. This was not just T.I. anymore. It was the entire Harris family. T.I.'s other son, Damani Harris, also got involved musically, dropping 2 diss tracks of his own aimed at 50 Cent, including one that sampled Outkast's Ms. Jackson. The fact that T.I.'s entire family is now vocally in this beef tells you everything about how personal it has become. T.I. himself went on a recording spree. But 50 turned to memes and jabbed at T.I. and his family, which led T.I. to the recording studio where he released 4 diss tracks going after the G-Unit mogul. 4 diss tracks, not 1, not 2, but 4 separate songs, all aimed at 50 Cent. T.I. dropped several pointed diss tracks at the internet troll, with 2 new additions, Lessons and What Bully. And then King Harris took it even further. King Harris dropped his own song and video, which features him wearing a t-shirt with the face of 50's mother on it. Rick Ross, who also does not like 50 Cent, jumped in the comments and wrote, "Need that T in a 3X, little bro." Rick Ross supporting King Harris wearing a t-shirt with 50's dead mother on it. That is where this beef went. Now T.I. himself has since spoken about King's involvement, and he was not entirely comfortable with how far it went. T.I. wishes his son King Harris had not gotten involved in his beef with 50 Cent. He thought that King's shirt with 50's mom's face on it went too far. When asked when he felt things went a little too far in the beef, T.I. pointed directly at the video of King wearing a shirt with 50's deceased mother on it. "I said, that's enough. When I seen that t-shirt," the Atlanta rapper said, So even T.I. recognized that his son crossed a line. He told King to stop. He said it was enough. But by then, the damage was already done. The internet had seen everything. The clips went everywhere, and 50 Cent had exactly what he needed, a reason to go all out. On March 5th, 50 Cent posted and then quickly deleted an Instagram screenshot of a headline that read, "What if 50 reportedly developing Surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary?" Read that again. Surviving T.I. and Tiny. If that name sounds familiar, it should. It is modeled after Surviving R. Kelly, the documentary that helped lead to R. Kelly's conviction on federal charges. And now 50 Cent is applying that same idea to T.I. and Tiny Harris. The caption confirmed he knew exactly what he was suggesting. "Remember how quiet I got before the Diddy doc? Dame thought I wasn't coming. I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're going to ask about your 20 sexual assault cases. You might want to talk to a crisis PR person." That is 50 Cent directly referencing the Diddy documentary and warning T.I. that the same treatment is coming. He said, "Remember how quiet I got before the Diddy doc?" That is not a threat made in anger. That is a man telling you that his silence is the beginning of destruction. He went quiet before the Diddy doc. Nobody thought it was coming. Then it hit Netflix and pulled 21.8 million views in 6 days. Surviving R. Kelly led to a conviction. The Diddy doc came alongside federal charges. Now 50 is applying that same format to accusations that were never taken to criminal court. And there is a specific reason this is so threatening to T.I. A federal civil lawsuit by Jane Doe was dismissed in August 2024. T.I. and Tiny have consistently denied all accusations, calling them made-up stories. Notably, T.I.'s own defamation lawsuit against the accuser heads to trial on June 9, 2026 in Los Angeles, which will put these accusations back in the public spotlight no matter what 50 produces. Walk seat. So T.I. already has a defamation lawsuit going to trial in June 2026. The accusations are already going to be back in the public conversation, and now 50 Cent is threatening to drop a documentary on top of that. The timing could not be worse for T.I., but here's the thing about Curtis Jackson. He has actually followed through before. The Diddy documentary was real, it was powerful, and it came after a long period of silence that people mistook for him giving up. That is the pattern. 50 goes quiet. People think the beef is over. Then a documentary drops on Netflix and lives change, careers change, and stories change. 50 eventually stepped back and moved on from making fun of T.I. and removed all posts connected to the Harris family from his social media. Now, some people might look at that and say 50 backed down. But if you know his playbook, the silence is not giving up. The silence is preparation. Meanwhile, T.I.'s let him know. Part of his retirement album, Kill the King, is currently #1 at Urban Radio and on several charts, from Instagram to Billboard. T.I. is actually making a career comeback. The beef, ironically, has helped him. His single, Let Him Know, is charting. His album, Kill the King, is on the way. He is back in the conversation in a way he has not been in over a decade. But the documentary threat hangs over all of it. If 50 is serious, T.I.'s Kill the King album rollout could be completely overshadowed. And that is the smart genius of 50 Cent. He does not need to release a diss track. He does not need to go bar for bar. He just needs to announce a documentary. And the threat alone does more damage than any 16 bars ever could. No network or streaming platform has confirmed they will air it. But if 50 Cent's pattern holds, the silence before the storm is the loudest warning. That is where the T.I. situation stands right now. The beef is not over. The documentary has not been confirmed by any network, but 50 Cent has established a pattern: announce, go silent, deliver. And every rapper in the industry is watching to see if T.I. is next on the list. Now, if the T.I. beef is loud and public and messy, the Jay-Z situation is the opposite. It is quiet, it is strategic, it is decades long, and it might be the most dangerous name connected to any of 50 Cent's documentary projects. Tension between the two New York giants has been building for over 20 years. Let us start at the very beginning. The beef between 50 Cent and Jay-Z kicked off back in '99 when 50 dropped How to Rob and threw shots at a bunch of rappers, Jay included. Jay-Z fired back on his track It's Hot, Some Like It Hot. In 1999, 50 Cent released How to Rob, a song where he named a long list of rappers and described in a joking way how he would rob each of them. It was a song designed to get attention, and it worked. Every rapper named on the track had a reaction, but the one that mattered most was Jay-Z's. 50 Cent has thrown small shots at Jay-Z ever since his How to Rob record. But aside from a bar on It's Hot, Jay has kept quiet, kept it moving, and kept making money. And that is the dynamic that has defined this rivalry for over 2 decades. 50 throws shots, Jay stays silent. 50 pushes harder,